Hi everybody, this is the Website Boy from the websiteboy.com, and today I'm going to show you the syntax of the for loop, and I'm going to show you how to use it. Later on, after we finish the basic C tutorials, we're going to jump into advanced C tutorials where I'm going to show you how to do a lot more things with the code. But first I need to get the basics in you. You need to learn the basics, and then we'll jump into the advanced tutorials. All right, so don't get anxious yet. Let's learn the basics first. You need to crawl before you can walk. All right, so let's go ahead and let me show you the syntax for the for loop. Let's take this off. And the for loop is a very common loop that everybody uses. It's used more than the while loop, and the reason you're gonna see right now. The reason is because it's very compact, and everything is there for you to do. So for example, the for loop is declared like this. So we got the for, F-O-R, we got the parentheses for the conditions and the extra expressions that we're going to put in there, and then we have the curly brackets to execute the code. And that's all we do need for the for loop. We just need this here, and here we're going to type three expressions, and after three expressions, that's it. That's all we have to write. So you're gonna see why this is so easy and why a lot of people use it. It's the most popular loop. So let's say, for example, let's first declare an integer type variable, and we're gonna say the name of this would be number one, and I'm just gonna declare it. I'm not gonna right now because I'm gonna use it right here. So all right, so let's go ahead and say this number, right, number one, and then we assign it a value here. Now here is where I'm going to assign it a value. We're going to assign it to 0. This is just to initialize the loop, to start somewhere, right, the index. Now the second thing would be the condition. All right, so what are we going to be testing against? Let's say if number one, as long as number one is smaller than 10, I want you to do something, right? The next expression would be the last thing that we uh, execute before we end the loop. And the last thing we execute is the increment. We need to increment our loop. So when you say number one plus plus, and I made the same mistake and forgot the one here. That's why it's always good to just copy and paste your variable, even if it's more like this. You might make a mistake here, and then you're gonna have to go back here and check your mistakes. But the great thing about it is that you get your errors down here, so you are able to see exactly where you make the errors. Now, so we got the first expression, which is the index. It started at 0, like the while loop. We started at 0 with a variable. Then we get the number one being tested against the 10, saying if it's smaller than 10 with a less than symbol, and then we increment it. All right, so in between here we write the code, what we want to write about, right, what we want to print out or what we want to do. If we're using it, of course we're not going to be printing everything out all the time. We're going to be doing things with functions and other codes that we'll be doing other calculations, and we can do a lot of things with it. This is just to show you what it does. That's why I'm using the printf function. So let's just go ahead and print this is fun. Okay, this is fun this amount of times. All right, that's fine. Let's just print out the number. All right, I was gonna write something else, but I haven't got much sleep, and I'm not gonna go and write some crazy stuff. Later on we get into more advanced functions, but right now I'm just gonna write the percent %d, all right, and then comma, and then we're just going to print out the variable, so that way you can see how this works. Now you know the syntax of it, and then here you can execute your code. So now this is ready to go, and let's just put a new line here before we end it, because then everything will be in one line if we don't put the new line in there. All right, so let's go ahead and try this out. Let's see all right, there we go. All right, so as you can see here, let me just click enter. Let's do it again, and let's save it, and then build, and there we go. because that was the last one because I didn't save it. Make sure you save your project. So now we got everything displaying correctly here in the new line from 0 to 9, and the reason why it's not displaying 10 is because it's not equal to 10. It's less than 10, and that was the condition that we're testing. If we test it's less than or equal to 10, then it prints out the 10. Let's build it, and as you can see, it prints out the 10. All right, so this is the for loop. That was the syntax. That's how you use it. And again, remember, it's the most common way for using loops. So that I suggest you use this loop all the time unless you really need to use the other ones. Again, thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope this was able to help you out. And if it did, like the tutorial. Keep me motivated by liking it and favoring. Again, see you. Website Boy out.